Hello and welcome back to Zuzan Cha, where it's always a good time to have tea. Today we are going to be trying, if I can pronounce this right, Huo Shan Huang Ya. And part of that means yellow. We're trying out a yellow tea today. And here it is. Some nice whole leaf there. I like that. It's very, very interesting there. So we got our things up. We got 4 grams of the tea. Put that right in there. Let that steam up a little bit. Warm up there. See how that smells in just a second. Getting all of our tea things warmed up. Yellow tea is basically it's a green tea that has been taken to the next oxidation level. You know, green tea, they try to stop all oxidation for the most part. So yellow tea, it goes up to the next oxidation level, the next stage. So this doesn't go as far as oolong, but it's more oxidized than green. And there's a certain island in China in the middle of a lake where most of the most expensive, finest yellow teas are grown and made. This is not that island, but it nevertheless is going to be a good tea, I believe. What do you smell there?
Bit earthy.
Earthy? Yeah. I had some floral. I was kind of thinking maybe like, what's those yellow flowers? Dandelion, maybe?
Yes.
A little bit of that possibly going on. All right, well, let's just kind of, as it steam, let's rinse it off real quick.
Maybe a bit of a creamy note in there too.
Cream it up. Give some tea to rinse the bob. Use my tea pet.
I was confused for a minute. You said rinse the ball.
We're going to be steeping our tea today. Yellow tea usually goes around up to about 185. My teapot has a 175 and 195 setting, so we're going to be doing it at 175 today. Let's see how it just now it's been wet. Yeah, definitely some earthy tones there. My assistant is nodding her head in agreement. All right. So this is our first steeping. We'll go for about 15 seconds or so. And yeah, if you can see that there, it is brewing. I really like the. That's one thing I really like about whole leaf tea here. It's when it's all broken up. You can just kind of see the leaves unfolding and expanding out as they begin. And of course, this is a this first steeping. I think it's going to be a little bit light. Probably much more
like a very soft lemon yellow.
On the second and third.
That's a very soft lemon yellow.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So this is
just a little bit of hint of green.
Color there. Very light. Getting some of those floral tones again. I'm still thinking kind of like dandelion. Just a slight astringency in the front of the tongue, in the upper, the forefront of the mouth and the upper palate. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm getting kind of a rush kind of feeling with the really hot water, but also it's not really that sweet of a rush. It's more of like a wet wood, muddy lake, kind of woody earth kind of rush.
Okay. Interesting.
Maybe a little bit of sweetness in there.
A little sweetness. Okay. Let's go for our second steeping. I think we'll get a little more deeper taste here. Flavor.
Maybe a bit of a deeper color.
We're going to go for about 20 seconds on the second one. Because it still has a little bit of a long, eventually I'm still tasting it here in the front of my mouth. Even with the, as light as it is. Definitely some earthy notes there. Forest floor maybe? Kind of a, like when you go in the woods after it rains. What do you think? Are you still tasting it there?
I'm also tasting kind of in the back of my mouth still, too.
In the back of your mouth. Okay, I'm not getting anything in the back of my mouth.
Feeling in the back of my mouth.
Feeling in the back of my mouth.
Because what I did is I tipped my head forward to see if the rush in the mouth would follow where the water was, and it actually did. So I'm wondering if it's the heat or if it's the flavor.
Yeah. Could be. All right. I didn't.
With heat generally, I guess
last time.
Generally makes it the flavors a bit more prominent, I think, though. The rush sensation does, I think. You haven't taken my cup back yet.
Oh, you're right. I'll get that in a second.
Definitely it looks definitely a bit more yellow.
Yeah. And so you might note that I leave this off while in between steepings. It keeps the leaves from cooking any further and steeping any more. Each one to be on its own. We use this, and I have to go back and find a name for this particular piece. But we use this so that when you brew tea, some of the tea is brewing over here, and some is over there, and some is there, and whatnot. And if you pour in the front part, just straight from the cup here, some will get some of these notes, but they won't get the back notes. So we pour them all together in one thing, and that way you get to taste all the parts of the cup as it has brewed.
Is that the guy one?
No, this is the guy one. This has a name. I'm gonna remember what the name is for next time.
Tiny pitcher.
I'm getting some of that kind of a traditional tea notes in there, just like regular old market tea. There, and it is a little. It has that astringency towards the front, but it's very, very light astringency. It's not very heavy at all, and it's in the front of the mouth where I prefer it to be, as opposed to drying out the back of your mouth. Sometimes these things.
I'm getting a bit of a sweet notes in the front and a bit more earthy in the back.
Okay. And I probably should show you this is where it is right now. You want some more?
Yes, please.
Go.
Tip: don't get little itty bitty tea leaf bits and don't drink that part. It makes it very bitter generally. I like this cup.
Okay. Let's see, what else am I getting there? Maybe some vegetal, there's a little bit of grassiness to it, I think. Probably more along the line of like wet grass, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
We'll let Bob, since we don't have our other tasters today. Bob can have some more. All right, going on up to our third. We didn't move Bob that time.
I think Bob's stuck again. I guess to see if Bob's stuck still.
I don't think he is.
I think Bob's stuck.
I think he's okay.
I wasn't squirting as much when I'm pouring the tea in.
Well, he's not a whole lot in there right now.
Okay. I hope
Now
Bob
you
doesn't
can
get
probably
stuck again.
see the leaves are really unfolding now. There, look at that. Isn't that pretty? And of course, we got nice whole leaves. You don't get a whole lot of stuff coming into your cup, bits and pieces, which is kind of nice. But I can see there is some that all kind of seem gone down to the very bottom. I don't know if you can see that or not, the little small pieces. So when I'm pouring that into my reservoir here, I'll call it that for the moment. It's the whole leaves there are blocking them from getting in, so it's kind of nice there. Alrighty, let's see. We'll taste just a minute.
From my experience, the fourth cup is the best.
Yeah, and I'm still tasting that flavor from the previous cups that we've had. All right. Yeah, so large leaves are definitely doing their job of straining the smaller bits at the bottom here, because I'm not really getting anything in my strainer.
Which is good.
Which is nice. All right, so let's see. Here we go. Here's our not a real dark yellow. What was the last tea that we had? That was the
I believe that was green. Wasn't the last one we had the green tea? Like that one was a little bit.
Oh yeah, it was a green tea. Yeah, that was the Pearl River green tea, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot more yellow than this.
Yep, sweetness is coming in.
There is some sweetness coming in there. You're right. Kind of the I kind of call it kind of the sweetness you get from almonds as opposed to normal sugar sources.
A bit creamy. I'm getting a bit astringency in the back of my mouth.
So I'm not getting the astringency in the back of my mouth. It's all in the front.
I'm getting a little in the front, but most of it, like I'm getting a lot of filling in the back. Like where my jaw and my throat connect. Can I have a bit more tea, please?
So if you're my daughter, you'll feel it in the back, and if you're like me, you'll feel it in the front. But that's okay because everybody's taste profiles are different.
Maybe yours will be in the middle. Maybe you won't have it at all.
Look at those leaves there. Like looking at it there, it's really nice to see leaves. You know, and these are fairly almost whole, and so you can see the leaves are small, so you can kind of tell this is not from the Assamica type, but just a sinensis sinensis. Those that small of a leaf. Want it a little bit more?
Yes, please. My
favorite taste. Give Bob his fair share.
Wait, Daddy, you need to move Bob.
Well, yeah, we're going for the that was the third. Now we're going to the fourth.
Wait, wasn't this the fourth?
No, that was the third. You're thinking maybe of the rinse we had. All right. So we'll let that steep a little bit more. Move this off to the side. They say yellow tea is generally 3.5 to 4 grams, and this was definitely, if we want to get as bold a taste, as much flavor as possible. So we went for the 4 grams here, and you could always choose to do less Up to you. But Gung Fu, we're always trying to get as much flavor out of it, and hence why we put a lot more in. You know, if you're doing it the Western style, you'd only have like maybe 1.5 grams, maybe 2 grams most. And
we did double that.
yes. All right. Here we go.
This time I measured with the scale.
It's my lovely assistant. Measured it out for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. All right, 4th infusion. Usually, at a 4th infusion, you're really getting the best of the tea by this time.
Yeah,
it's a little bit
we're doing
darker.
the nutty sweet. Nice way at the tip of the tongue.
Yeah, and I'm actually starting to feel a little bit of a coating over my tongue and my the front of my mouth, where it's the nice. It's not as light as it was before. I'm just gonna feel the coating over the tongue there. The astringency is not as strong as the last one. Sweeter. Still have some of those floral notes. I think that probably reminds me. I can think of dandelion, yellow flowers.
Still getting like a small. It's very small, but like small hints of like the woody, earthy area.
Okay, I can see that. I read it earlier.
A little bit creamy. Still getting that stringency in the back of the mouth, but in a slight bit at the tip. Yeah, you know that the place where your jaw and your neck join?
Yeah.
It's like right on that diagonal.
Okay. All right, going for number 5. Modern electronics are great, where you can have something that will keep your tea heated to whatever temperature you want.
Very specific.
This one is a, what's the name of this one? What do I have here? This is a Brighton. I get no money for saying that, but anyway, so far this one I've had this since Christmas. And it survived our household since Christmas. So there you go. All right, so seems to be doing pretty good. Oh, I'm gonna grab my cup. My lovely assistant reminded me I did not get her cup back from her. All right, here we go.
You can really see the tea leaves unfolding now.
Yeah, I mean there's just a full amount of the tea there being exposed to the water, being able to draw all that out.
I've taken notes on previous times that I've had this. So from here, I'm wondering if it's going to go slightly.
Okay, there you go. Cheers.
Very sweet all over, mostly. Front, middle, not too much in the back.
Yeah, I'm going to get more sweetness there too.
Still getting kind of that dryness and the kind of dryness, stringency in the back of the throat.
Yeah, I'm not getting that.
Are you getting any stringency or dryness?
It's kicking in from the last sip of the cup here. It's just kicking in right now, so it took a little bit. I didn't have it. Wasn't at the very beginning. It's kind of like a way aftertaste here now, and you can feel the dryness and the stringency there at the tip of my tongue still. I'm not getting anything in the back of my mouth. Very enjoyable. Very light. It's fairly light, as far as light tasting, but it And it does have a bit of a long finish, or probably I'd say medium finish here.
Very nutty. Has that nutty sweet. You don't really taste that much the nut, but you get like the nutty sweetness.
The sweetness from a nut, yeah.
Like an almond,
kind of sweet.
hazelnut.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit of cream. A bit of creaminess.
All right. Normally, I guess going to recommend it. You might be able to get 5 infusions out of some yellow tea.
But here we push the
We
limits.
just push the limits here and just see how much flavor we can draw out of this.
The guy wants
because we can.
The guy on top reminds me of a little table, but it's flipped up a table.
And I was noting I had to normally you would with the ceramic cups and whatnot, they tend to get stained rather easily, and I was thinking that the glass guy one wouldn't get all that stained or whatnot. But before the session, while of course I was cleaning it afterwards, like this glass one has some stain on it, so I had to get my really scrungy
metal scrubber?
No, the sponge with the little grit on the other side.
So the opposite side of the sponge.
Yeah, the opposite side of the sponge, and to clean it, I was like, man, you wouldn't think that glass would do that. I didn't think glass would do that. Who knows? But I am not an expert in these things yet, in glass teaware, but you don't want that. You don't want previous teas affecting the tea that you're having right now, particularly if it's the same type of tea. So as far as the color is concerned, I think it's maybe a little lighter than the fourth, probably about close to the third.
As soon as you take the first sip, you can get all of the sweetness.
It's definitely mellowing out. The stringency that was there before just really is not there anymore by this cup.
Not much for me anymore either.
But I'm still getting some. I'm noticing the other flavors.
It essentially feels like the flavors are just hitting my tongue as soon as I take the sip. They're very strong.
Yeah. Another cup here. Yeah, it's still enjoyable.
Very interesting for me.
Even on the 6 steeping.
It's very interesting for me because last time when we had this tea boat dinner record, I found the 4th cup the most enjoyable. I'm really enjoying the 5th and 6th.
Really?
I enjoyed the 4th a bit, but here the stringency isn't as strong, so it's a bit more enjoyable. For me personally, because I don't like the stringency.
Yeah. All right.
Going
for a
tea.
7th. All right. And I think this will probably be the last one for our recording. We may do some off-camera continuing here, but if you can get more than 5 infusions from your yellow tea, you're going to be doing very well. Just look at those leaves. The leaves are really filled up. You could see through. You still see parts of or spaces there earlier, even just 2 infusions ago. But now the leaves are just fully expanded out, filled up the cup. Can't see anything hardly in there anymore. That's just really nice. That's one of the things I really like about whole leaf tea. They just kind of expand and grow out there as you do it. Kind of reminds me of some of those things, some of those quasi-science toys you get, just add water and watch it expand, I think we had a dinosaur and an alligator and hippopotamus maybe. All right, well, I think this one's definitely a little bit lighter in color.
Looks kind of like earlier, like on the first 2 cups where they were, I didn't know how to describe them really, but I think I know the word.
Yeah.
I think it's like an almond, like a peeled almond, but slightly more yellow.
Yeah, it's the flavor is definitely on the seventh one here. It's starting to peter out.
The question is, I have a question though.
Yes.
Are you referring to the sweetness going out, or just the regular flavors that we had from the beginning?
Just all the flavor. It's more watery than tea.
So I'm still getting a decent amount. Yeah, it's a bit more watery, but I'm still getting the almond.
Yeah. Well, I think it's there. The almond sweet is still there, and very late astringency towards the end. I mean, just a little bit, hardly there. There you go. So, hey, if you like this video, please click like. If you like to see more of these or be reminded of when we have a new review of our tea, hit subscribe. And God's blessings on your day, and we'll see you later. Remember, it is always a good time for tea.